Before we begin, I'd like to invite everyone to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. Now, let's get started. Part 1. Fact 1. We are born with only two natural fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud sounds. One of the most surprising fun facts about life, all other fears and phobias are learned or acquired later in life. Fact 2. Baked beans are not actually baked. In the UK, the dish is usually stewed in sauce. On the other hand, canned baked beans are cooked through a steaming process. Bottom line? Baked beans are rarely ever baked. Fact 3. Antarctica is the only continent without any reptiles or snakes. Not only does the elusive continent of Antarctica lack McDonald's joints, but it also doesn't have any of our lizard friends. Why? Well, we all know that reptiles are cold-blooded, so they can't produce their own heat. Meaning, they get turned into popsicles in the frosty Arctic. Fact 4. Video games help surgeons perform better. According to a 2007 study, surgeons who play certain video games at least 3 hours a week perform 27% faster with 37% less errors during surgery. Fact 5. Tomato ketchup was used as medicine for 16 years. Whether you love it or hate it, this condiment once had a place in the world beyond hot dogs. However, you'd be surprised to know that ketchup only had tomatoes in it starting 1834. Before, ketchup was made with a mix of fish and mushrooms. When Dr. John Cook Bennett added tomatoes to the mix, he claimed that the antioxidants gave it a medicinal property. He had a pill salesman turn his tomato ketchup into pills and claimed it could treat diarrhea, indigestion, jaundice, and rheumatism. Fact 6. The brain is the fattest organ. The stomach may be our body's fattest part, but the fattest organ is our brain. The brain is composed of nearly 60% fat. Fact 7. Australia has the most number of venomous snakes worldwide. Australia is home to almost 100 species of venomous snakes. However, only one fatal snake bite incident is recorded per year. Fact 8. Dead people get goosebumps. One of the not-so-fun but amazing fun facts, when people die, the tiny muscles under their hair follicles contract. This gives skin the appearance of their hair standing on end. If you think death is a hair-raising concept, you are absolutely right. Fact 9. You can't move or touch William Shakespeare's bones. William Shakespeare's legacy doesn't stop at his plays and how many words he created, but even in the afterlife, he leaves a lasting display of his wit. Buried in 1616, the playwright was said to write his tombstone inscription which reads, "Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear, to dig the dust enclosed here, blessed be the man that spares death stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones." Fact 10. Digging a hole to China is possible if you start in Argentina. One of the most intriguing fun facts about Argentina is that you could dig a hole to China from there. As a feat usually done by cartoon or comic book characters, traveling to China underground is possible in theory, but not so much in practice. Underground conditions such as heat, pressure, and lack of oxygen are just one of the few realities that keep this cartoonish concept just that, a concept for cartoons. Fact 11. A snail can sleep for 3 years. Aside from their shocking number of teeth, these small critters have some more astonishing tricks up their sleeve. Nap time for a snail can last from a few hours up to 3 years. Fact 12. A musician named Jim Sullivan mysteriously disappeared 6 years after recording an album called U.F.O. The 1969 album featured strange lyrics about leaving his family and being abducted by aliens. Sullivan disappeared 6 years later with only his abandoned car found on a desert road in New Mexico as evidence. Fact 13. The name for the Pringles shape is a hyperbolic paraboloid. The saddle shape of a Pringles chip is known in math as a hyperbolic paraboloid. Pringles were made in this shape because it allows the chips to be stacked easily and kept in place during packaging. Fact 14. There is McDonald's in all continents except Antarctica. Fast food giant McDonald's serves 120 countries with about 37,855 restaurants worldwide, but you wouldn't find a single McDonald's joint in Antarctica. Not only does it have a McDonald's-shaped void, but Antarctica is the only demilitarized continent worldwide. Instead, the entire continent is relegated for educational and scientific purposes. Fact 15. At any point in time, 0.7% of the world's population is drunk. As you are reading this, 50 million people are drunk. Fact 16. Sonic the Hedgehog isn't his full name. In fact, Sega's poster boy is actually named Ogilvy Maurice Hedgehog. Fact 17. A crocodile cannot stick its tongue out. Because of a membrane that holds its tongue to the roof of its mouth, a crocodile can't stick its tongue out of its elongated snout. However, alligators can. Fact 18. Like fingerprints, everyone's tongue print is different. One of the more mind-blowing fun facts: no two tongue prints are alike. The use of tongue prints as a forensic identifier began fairly recently. Fact 19. Toilet paper in France is generally pink. What is usually found in our homes as a stark white is a lively pink for the French. Pink toilet paper is commonly found in the bathrooms and kitchens of France as a regional preference. In the 1950s, colored toilet paper was also the rave in the US. However, health and safety concerns over the dye caused it to be discontinued in the early 2000s. Fact 20. Artificial banana flavoring is based on an extinct banana. You may notice that your banana-flavored food products don't taste quite like the real thing. This is because commercially used banana flavoring is based on a type of banana that got wiped out by a plague in the 1950s. Fact 21. For out of world are of Buddhas the 10 largest statues in the. Out of the 130 largest statues in the world, China has the most at 35 statues. This is followed by India at 25 statues. It's no surprise that a chunk of these 130 statues depict Buddha, who originated from India and one of the main religions in China. The Spring Temple Buddha in the Lushan County of Hunan, China stands at 128 meters, 420 feet, and is the second largest statue in the whole world. Fact 22. Squeaky floors were the best home security in 17th century Japan. You'd expect Japanese feudal lords to live in pristine houses with the sturdiest materials, and that is mostly true, save for their squeaky, creaky floors. Nightingale floors were flooring systems that chirped when somebody walked on it. They were installed in temples and palaces to alert of intruders. The floors were built in a way that the flooring nails rub against jackets or clamps, causing squeaking noises. Fact 23. Half of all bank robberies in the U.S. are done on a Friday. According to 2011 government statistics, bank robberies in the U.S. take place most often in mid-morning, on Fridays, and in the southern and western states. Out of the total stolen $43 million in 2011, only a measly $8 million was recovered. Fact 24. Tinder made its first match in Antarctica in 2014. Tinder made its first match on the continent of Antarctica in 2014. The match in question was between two research scientists. You could pretty much find a match for you anywhere with these new dating apps. Fact 25. Men's dress shirt collars used to be detachable. To save on laundry costs, men's shirt collars were removable in the mid-1800s. This was because the collar was the part that needed the most frequent cleaning. Fact 26. The first novel in the world ended mid-sentence. The Tale of Genji, written by Murasaki Shikibu in the 11th century, is the world's oldest novel. Towards the end of 54 chapters, the story is stopped abruptly mid-sentence. Some translators believe the work is complete and intended to end that way, but others say a few pages haven't been recovered yet. Fact 27. In 2014, a missing woman on a vacation in Iceland was found in a search party for herself. A missing tourist in the Elja Canyon was found in the search party tasked to locate her. She was last seen in the tour bus nearing the volcanic canyon. However, when she changed out of her clothes, she was reported missing. The search progressed from evening until the wee hours of the morning. The tourist group, and likely the tourist herself, were in for the surprise of their lives when they found the missing person in the search party itself. Fact 28. Sneezing while traveling at 60 miles per hour makes you close your eyes for 50 feet. In a not-so-fun fact, the few milliseconds you spend sneezing can make you lose track of the distance you travel. No matter how amazing that may be, it is very hazardous for the road. About 2,500 road accidents occur in a UK winter due to colds and sneezing. Fact 29. People don't sneeze in their sleep. While asleep, humans are actually more prone to sneezing because the mucous membranes swell when lying down. However, the brain shuts down the neuroreceptors that stimulates our sneezing reflex. That way, only very strong stimuli can wake one to sneeze. Fact 30. If you make $1 every second, it will take you 2,921 years to be richer than Bill Gates. At a net worth of $110 million, Microsoft founder Bill Gates consistently topped the world's richest billionaires for 18 years. He was dethroned only recently by the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Fact 31. February used to be the last month of the year. We may know January and February as the first 2 months of the year, but these months were actually the last couple of months added to the Gregorian calendar. Before, the Roman calendar only recognized 10 months. However, the winter period was measured in these 2 months, making February the last month of the calendar. This is also why February has the shortest number of days in a month. Fact 32. Shoe shops used X-ray machines to measure shoe sizes. Way before radiation was fully understood, shoe shops measured sizes through X-rays in the 1940s. Fact 33. The Big Ben in London is leaning so much that the incline is visible to the naked eye. Weathering has not been kind to the Big Ben. Experts estimate that it will have the same incline as the Leaning Tower of Pisa in 4,000 years. Fact 34. Australia has the most beaches in the world. A fun fact for beach lovers, at 10,000 beaches, you can visit one new beach in Australia every day for more than 27 years. Fact 35. The national animal of Scotland is the unicorn. One of the fun facts that'll make you feel like we're pulling your leg, the unicorn is officially Scotland's national animal. The unicorn is the Celtic symbol of purity, innocence, masculinity, and power. Considering the fact that people believed they were real for around 2,500 years, there's no wondering why the official coat of arms of the United Kingdom features a unicorn. Fact 36. The directors of the film Despicable Me wrote their own language for the Minions. It may sound like total gibberish, but the famed, or infamous, Minions of the Despicable Me franchise speak an actual language. The directors combined Spanish, Italian, Chinese, Filipino, Tagalog, French, and Russian to create Minionese. Fact 37. Alaska had a cat mayor. Another interesting fun fact, the Alaskan town of Talkeetna had a cat as mayor for 20 years. You read that right, this feline was affectionately called Stubbs, for his lack of a tail, and served as the town mayor from 1997 to 2017. Stubbs didn't really have to do much official business, since the little town was merely a historic district and tourist spot. Fact 38. There is an island in the Bahamas with only pigs as residents. Another interesting fun fact, Pig Beach is an otherwise uninhabited island in the Bahamas mainly populated by feral pigs. There's no confirmed theory of why these pigs ended up there in the first place, but some speculate that they came from a shipwreck, a business tactic, or an abandoned ration of food. Fact 39. Eating polar bear liver can kill a human being. If eaten in one meal, 30 to 90 g of polar bear liver can be fatal. Its high concentration of vitamin A is toxic to humans. Fact 40. Insects are attracted to light because of the moon. Bug behavior can be especially strange, but scientists predict that night insects, like moths, are attracted to lights because they used the light of the moon to navigate the Earth way before artificial lights were made. Fact 41. Lobster used to be considered the cockroach of the ocean. It may be found in the most luxurious menus now, but lobster was once eaten regularly by the homeless, slaves, and prisoners. However, lobster started to be seen as a delicacy after World War II. Fact 42. DreamWorks Studios was created by a former Disney employee. Jeffrey Katzenberg produced some of Disney's biggest hits, namely The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. With the success of these classics, he requested a promotion. However, due to internal conflicts, he got fired instead. It was then that he founded DreamWorks Studios with other familiar film personalities, Steven Spielberg and David Geffen. Fact 43. Australia has a bright pink lake. Lake Hillier is a pink lake in west coast of Australia. Although colored lakes seem to be a norm in the world, Lake Hillier is the only one that scientists have yet to figure out. To this day, reasons for its pink coloration remains to be theory. Fact 44. Netflix spent $0 on marketing its DVD rental business, but over 6 million people still used it. Remember how compact discs feel like in your hand? The frustration of wiping it clean when it starts to skip? Nowadays, it's all Netflix and chill. However, one of the coolest fun facts about Netflix is how it owned the marketing game in 2014. Despite spending nothing on marketing, sales for DVD rentals soared at an all-time high that year. Fact 45. Spiked and studded dog collars were an ancient Greek invention. Who would think that the spiked collars we see on cartoon characters or the local scene kid had ancient origins? Ancient Greek herders would give their sheepdogs sharply spiked collars as protection from wolves while they guarded livestock at night. Fact 46. A full jumbo jet tank has enough fuel to drive a car around the world 4 times. One of the most mind-blowing fun facts, the average jumbo jet burns roughly a gallon, approximate 4 liters, of fuel every second. Compared to the average car fuel tank, this capacity can fill a car with enough fuel to circle the world 4 times over. Talk about a road trip. Fact 47. Artist Salvador Dali would get out of paying at restaurants by drawing on the checks. The renowned artist responsible for Chupa Chups' logo was not a fan of paying for his meals. Often, he would draw on the checks, making them priceless works of art. He may be stingy and obsessed with money, but you gotta give the guy credit for his genius. Fact 48. Jellyfish almost caused mass nuclear explosions in 2013. In the extremely warm summer of 2013, several nuclear power plants across the world were forced to close down because of jellyfish. The sudden increase in jellyfish clogged the filters that cooled down the reactors, which led to the power plants to be shut down for immediate maintenance and safety measures. Fact 49. A seaman once set a ship on fire to get out of work early. Definitely one of the don't try this at home fun facts. A civil employee once started a fire that ravaged the nuclear submarine USS Miami, which was docked at a naval shipyard. Though the cause for the fire was unclear at first, civilian employee KCJ Fury soon admitted to starting the fire for an early dismissal from work. Fury was sentenced to 17 years in federal prison and ordered to pay $400 million in damages. Fact 50. Tea bags were an accidental invention. When Thomas Sullivan distributed tea samples in small, silk bags in 1908, his customers dumped them in water, bag and all. Now, this seems like the normal thing to do, but this was during a time when you could only drink tea through big strainers. From Sullivan samples, the conventional tea bag was born. Part 2. Fact 1. Your heart beats 100,000 times a day. A fun fact for when you feel dead inside, your body is working hard to keep you from being dead on the outside. Fact 2. J is the only letter that doesn't appear on the periodic table. One of the fun facts for whenever you feel excluded, all 26 letters of the alphabet can be found in the periodic table except for the letter J. Out of the 118 elements, not once is J used. Fact 3. A man once won a horse race after he died. This one will have you saying, "What the fact?" But this dark fun fact definitely takes winning spirit to another level. Frank Hayes was a jockey who suffered a fatal heart attack mid-race. However, his horse still led and finished the race in first place. As such, Hayes was the first and only jockey to win a race posthumously in 1923. Fact 4. At birth, baby pandas are smaller than mice. Giant pandas may grow to over 6 feet, but one of the interesting fun facts about them is their tiny size upon birth. A newborn panda cub weighs 3 to 5 ounces and is the measly size of a butter stick. That's almost 1/900th the size of its mother. Fact 5. Jack Daniel was believed to die from kicking a safe. Another morbidly funny fact, Jack Daniel was said to die from kicking a vault. According to the tale, he broke his toe after kicking the safe in anger due to not remembering the combination. It was then that he contracted sepsis. However, this admittedly ridiculous story has since been refuted by some experts. Fact 6. A coffee taster has his tongue insured for £10 million. Gennaro Polliccia of Costa Coffee got his tongue insured for £10 million in 2009. Fact 7. Herringfish communicate by farting. When herringfish release gas, the bubbles it produces make a high-frequency sound that only herring can hear. The fish use this noise to arrange themselves into protective shoals during the night to keep them safe from predators. Fact 8. A kimono literally translates to thing to wear. Japanese people are known for their punctuality and precise way of life, but it seems they also have a distinct discipline of words. One of the interesting fun facts about Japan is that the word kimono literally translates to a thing to wear. Ki means wear, while mono means thing. Fact 9. Scientists grew a human tooth from scratch using pee. In 2013, the first artificially reproduced human tooth was created in China. The scientists were able to create the tooth using stem cells extracted from human urine. Fact 10. Tic Tacs got their name from the sound they make. Ever shook a Tic Tac container out of boredom? You'd be surprised to know that the name Tic Tac comes from the tick ing and tac ing sound the candies make when tossed around in their container. Fact 11. You could go to jail for collecting eagle feathers in the U.S. Only official members of federally accepted Native American tribes can keep or collect eagle feathers. If a regular citizen had one, it would be illegal. Fact 12. 78% of NFL players undergo financial crisis by 2 years of retirement. Upon retiring for 2 years, a majority of former NFL players undergo bankruptcy or financial crisis. The main culprits? Unemployment and divorce. Fact 13. Moon trees are a thing. No, it's not another edgy underground indie band, but one of the endless fun facts about plants. Moon trees were sprouted from tree seeds that were flown to the moon, then planted in the earth. 500 seeds were taken from 5 different seed types to orbit around the moon. They were later planted around the US and a few other countries. Fact 14. A filmmaker once created a 10-hour film of paint drying. One of the pettiest yet wittiest fun facts, to protest high tariffs, filmmaker Charlie Lang submitted a 10-hour movie of drying white paint to the British Board of Film Classification, BBFC. The board had to watch paint drying in its entirety, all 10 hours and 7 minutes of it. Fact 15. During the first 5 months of Pokemon Go, gaming-related accidents increased by 26.5%. People may joke about Pokemon Go bringing world peace, but the game was actually doing quite the opposite. Upon the first few months of its release, Pokemon Go-related casualties included 2 deaths and $25.5 million in property damages. Fact 16. If you ate nothing but rabbit meat, you would die from protein poisoning. Rabbit meat is extremely lean. Using it as a sole food source will leave you with too much protein and no fat, which is toxic for the body. Fact 17. Hundreds of rare animals and plants thrive in the North Korea-South Korea border. The Korean Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, is 155 miles of untouched land that separates North and South Korea. In these heavily fortified fences, several endangered animal and plant species thrive. Ecologists identified around 2,900 plant species, 70 mammal species, and 320 bird species in this narrow buffer zone. Fact 18. The tongue is the only muscle in the body attached from one end. All other muscles are fully attached to bones and skin. Fact 19. In a conversation, each speaker's turn is 2 seconds, with intervals between turns only 200 milliseconds. According to experts, this model is nearly universal in terms of conversations. Fact 20. Sleep literally cleanses your brain. When we sleep, more cerebrospinal fluid flushes through the brain to wash away the day's worth of harmful, excess proteins and toxins. Think about that on your next Netflix binge. Fact 21. Sudan has the most pyramids out of any country. One of the mind-boggling fun facts, the plentiest pyramids in the world is not in Egypt. Instead, the record belongs to Sudan with 255 pyramids, which is twice the amount of the pyramids in Egypt. Fact 22. The Lego Group is the most powerful brand in the world. One of the most shocking fun facts, there are more Lego minifigures than all the people on Earth. Says a lot about your childhood toy. Fact 23. Mr. and Mrs. came from the words master and mistress. Mind blown. The first use of the abbreviated Mr. and Mrs. were traced to a letter written in the 1600s by an unknown R.P. addressed to William Farrington Askew. Fact 24. The only difference between kosher salt and table salt is the grain size. Both come from underground salt deposits. The only difference is that kosher salt grains are smaller. Fact 25. Humans specifically have eyes that face forward for the purpose of seeing in 3D. On the other hand, vegetarian dinosaurs such as the Triceratops had eyes facing both sides so they could look out for predators. Fact 26. The founder of Pringles, Frederick Bauer, requested to be buried in a Pringles can. Another morbid fun fact is that his children honored his dying wish when Bauer died in the 80s. Fact 27. The sound of a Star Wars lightsaber is the combined sound of a film projector and noise from an old TV. Sound designer Ben Burtt created the iconic whooshing sound of lightsabers almost accidentally. The sound made when lightsabers make impact resulted from TV feedback on a shieldless microphone, which Burtt discovered on accident while looking for something to add to the projector hum. Fact 28. Humans can't taste food without saliva. Another fun fact about the body, you wouldn't taste your food without spit. Your saliva dissolves food, which allows the receptors in your taste buds to detect food molecules. Fact 29. There's a plankton that reverses your feeling of hot and cold. Dinoflagellates are marine plankton that can alter as well as hallucinations. These trippy symptoms can last from weeks up to years. Fact 30. You can eat the stickers on fruit. The adhesive used for fruit stickers is FDA regulated, and paper is edible. However, don't forget to wash it first. Fact 31. Scientists don't know what causes the shower curtain effect. Picture this: you hop into the shower after a long day. You close the curtains. As you run the shower, you notice that the curtain billows inward. Thus, you discover the shower curtain effect. Until now, scientists haven't pinpointed what causes this strange phenomenon. Fact 32. The Chanel Double C was the first designer logo of all time. The famous Double C symbol was created by Coco Chanel in 1925. This famed Parisian brand symbol was the first ever designer logo and remains unchanged to this day. Fact 33. Giraffes have less neck bones than a sloth. Another one of those fun facts that'll make you go, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, one look at a giraffe and a sloth shows the very obvious amount of neck on a giraffe compared to the sloth. However, giraffes actually have 7 neck vertebrae, while sloths have 10. Fact 34. The word friends is said in every episode of Friends. The 90s television hit also had the words "oh my God" mentioned 1,027 times by its characters for its entire run. Fact 35. Manatees can get cold stress. These gentle giants may look like tough guys, but they can be pretty sensitive to cold. In waters below 20 degrees Celsius, manatees can get Florida frostbite. Manatee fat isn't enough to insulate their body temperature in the cold, which is why manatee deaths spiked in the Florida cold snap of 2010. Fact 36. Not sporty? Try aggressive sitting. Okay, it's not actually as tame as it sounds, think skateboard tricks, but with a stool. Sport hockeying is a unique German street sport created in 2007. It combines the principle of skateboarding with a distinct rubber-lined funnel stool instead of a board. Participants can spin, kick, throw, juggle, and slide. However, the hawker rule of thumb is they always have to slam their bottoms down on the stool to signify the end of each trick. Fact 37. 27,000 trees are cut per day for the world's toilet paper. Toilet paper doesn't just wipe our whatevers, but it also wipes out 27,000 trees a day. Similarly, about 500,000 trees are cut for daily newspapers. Fact 38. May 22nd is the least common birth date. The 22nd of May is the least common day to be born. On the other hand, the 16th of September is the most common birthday. In fact, more people in the world are born in September than any other month. Fact 39. No one knows for sure how dinosaurs mate. It's easy to get caught up in a dinosaur's grotesque features, but have you ever wondered how dinosaurs mated in the first place? With all those spines and armor, how did they do it enough to roam the world before us? So far, no dinosaur has been found with their reproductive organs intact. Until then, only cross-referencing from existing descendants, birds and reptiles, as well as computer modeling can give us hints as to how they'd done the deed. Fact 40. Airport runway numbers actually indicate the direction on a compass. One of the fun facts to consider in your next travel, the numbers you see on an airport runway aren't random coordinates for the aliens. They're actually based on the compass and helps pilots navigate precisely. A single runway number is 63 feet tall by 20 feet wide. Fact 41. Hershey's Kisses were named that after the kissing sound the chocolate makes on the conveyor belt. Before discovering this fun fact, I thought kisses were named after the shape your mouth makes when you place the chocolate on your lips, tip first. However, Hershey's are actually named for the sound it makes during the manufacturing process. A machine squirts the chocolate mixture onto the conveyor with a kiss sound. Another Hershey's fun fact? The paper strip plume on top of Hershey's Kisses are trademarked. Fact 42. Butterflies taste with their feet. Butterflies have taste receptors on their feet. By standing on a leaf, they can sample it to see if it is edible. Fact 43. Penguins can jump as high as 9 feet in the air. These creatures may be known for their adorable waddling, but they're actually quite the action stars. One of the fun facts about these fun creatures, depending on their species, penguins can jump up to 9 feet. How do these boxy birds do it, you ask? The magic happens underwater. Penguins wrap their bodies in air bubbles from their wings and use this to propel themselves up to the surface. Fact 44. Polar bears aren't purely left-handed. Although it has been said that all polar bears are left-handed, it has actually been discovered that they use both hands equally for activities. Fact 45. A frog can throw up an entire organ. Frogs don't have a gag reflex like humans and other animals. Their way of rejecting unwanted elements is way more hardcore. The frog vomits its entire stomach out, dangling it from its mouth. The frog then uses its forearms to clear out all of the stomach's contents. Finally, it swallows the stomach back down again. Fact 46. The legs of a bat are so thin, they can't walk. Only 2 species of bats can walk on their front and hind legs, the vampire bat and burrowing bat. Fact 47. The katydid bug hears through holes in its hind legs. Insects are known to be all sorts of strange, but this is one of the cooler fun facts. The katydid hears with its legs. The katydid's ears are located on its 2 front legs. Like the human ear, the ear of the katydid collects sound, converts it, and analyzes the frequency. Fact 48. Slugs only have 1 nose. It's a common myth that slugs have 4 noses, but this isn't actually the case. A slug's features and sensory organs are found in tentacles on its face. A pair of tentacles hold each eye, while another pair of tentacles underneath contains nostrils. The 4-pronged appearance of a slug's face gives the illusion that it has 4 noses. Fact 49. A shrimp's heart is in its head. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you can't choose between following your head or your heart? Well, it seems shrimp have an evolutionary advantage when it comes to tough decisions. Kidding aside, one of the fun facts about shrimps is that their hearts are literally in their heads. Specifically, it is found in the thorax just behind the head, but they are covered in the same shell segment. Fact 50. Chickens are eaten for their whole life cycle. A not so fun fact for the chickens, but one of the fun facts to ponder. When you're eating chicken katsu or chicken omelet, you could be eating a whole family. You're essentially eating a chicken before, aka the eggs, and after its birth. Oh, not to mention day old chicks. Part 3. Fact 1. A meteor as strong as 10 atomic bombs exploded over Earth and everyone missed it. In 2018, a meteor 10 meters in diameter exploded over the Bering Sea. The massive space rock had a mass of 1,400 tons and an impact energy of 173 kilotons of TNT, which was about 10 times the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima in 1945. Fact 2. Dogs like squeaking toys because it sounds like their prey. Dogs are known to have a fixation on squeaky toys. Although dogs have been domesticated by man, they still retain some of their animal instincts, which is why squeaky toys stimulate them. Squeaky toys almost sound like small prey screaming for their life. Now that's one of the WTF facts you could have lived without ever knowing. Fact 3. If the sun exploded, you wouldn't know until 8 minutes later. Light from the sun reaches the Earth at 8 minutes and 18 seconds. This is the same amount of time it'll take for us to see any changes in the sun. Fact 4. Ferrets will die after a year of no sex. No Nut November, who? Female ferrets mature sexually at 4 to 6 months of age. When they go into heat, they stay that way until they breed. However, prolonged estrogen increase may lead to aplastic anemia, which can lead to death. Fact 5. The longest hiccups lasted nearly 69 years. When Charles Osborne started hiccuping in 1922, he didn't stop until 1990. Charles Osborne hiccuped nonstop for 68 years. He wasn't even doing anything to trigger his decades-long hiccup. It just started while he was weighing a hog before slaughter. Initially, he hiccuped 40 times a minute. However, in his later years, it slowed to 20 hiccups per minute. After his long hiccuping episode, he managed to live a hiccup-less life for only a year until his death in 1991. Definitely one of the more unfortunate WTF facts. Fact 6. You swallow about 365 cups of mucus in a year. That makes over 22 gallons of mucus a year. Fact 7. You sweat an average of 26 gallons on your bed per year. This means that an average person sweats 1 cup of perspiration on his bed per day. How's that for WTF facts? Fact 8. A cloud can weigh more than 1,000,000 pounds. If you've ever pictured yourself lying in the clouds, keep this in mind. The average weight of a cumulus cloud is 1.1 million pounds, or almost 500,000 kilograms. They don't seem as light and fluffy now, do they? Fact 9. Shadows are darker on the moon. On Earth, our shadows aren't too dark because of the sunlight in the atmosphere. However, this isn't the case with the moon. The moon has no atmosphere, and thus, no place for sunlight to travel. It's so dark on the moon that Neil Armstrong said he couldn't see where he was going. Fact 10. Human meat is rich in protein. However, early cannibalism was not really practiced because of diet or starvation. Historical instances of human meat consumption were mainly symbolic or religious gestures. Fact 11. A duel of 3 people is called a truel. The truel originates from old 90s action movies and fiction. Fact 12. Beer was a soft drink in Russia. Before 2011, any drink in Russia with less than 10% alcohol content was legally classified as a soft drink. Fact 13. Blood donors in Sweden get texts when their blood is used. In order to promote blood donation, the Swedish government implemented a text service for donors in 2015. The people who donate would initially receive a thank you text after giving their blood. However, they would also get another message when their blood is transfused into someone else. Fact 14. Before bloopers was coined, there were boners. Commonly shown at the end credits of any show or film, bloopers are the outtakes of scenes with errors or funny mistakes. However, it didn't always have such a tame name. In the 1950s, people referred to outtakes as boners, boneheaded mistakes, or breakdowns. Fact 15. The small holes under frozen pizzas prevent air bubbles from forming in the dough. The holes prevent the dough from being soggy or limp. Fact 16. Bluetooth was named after a king. Bluetooth technology was named after King Harold Bluetooth Gormson. The traditional explanation for his moniker is that Harold had a bad tooth that looked blue. In the 10th century, Bluetooth united Denmark and Norway, much like how wireless Bluetooth now joins different devices. Fact 17. Viagra can make flowers stay erect, too. If you dissolve Viagra in water, it can make flowers stay alive for a week longer than usual. Fact 18. Dogs are banned from Antarctica. In 1994, Antarctica banned all non-native species, except humans, from the continent. This was in order to prevent diseases from spreading to seals. Fact 19. In Slovakia, they have a Christmas carp that lives in the family bathtub for a few days before they are eaten. A traditional Slovakian Christmas dinner is a main dish of breaded carp with sides of cabbage and sausage soup, and potato salad. However, the WTF facts twist is that the carp has to live in the family bathtub before it is cooked. Fact 20. Iguanas have 3 eyes. Iguanas have 2 normal eyes and a 3rd eye on their head that only detects brightness. Fact 21. Babe Ruth wore a cabbage leaf in his cap to keep it cool. Babe Ruth's unusual way of keeping cool during games is definitely one for WTF facts. he would take leaves off a head of cabbage and put them in a cooler. From there, he would take one and put it under his cap every 2 innings. Fact 22. About 100 people choke on pens each year in the U.S. Roughly 100 people choke on pen caps per year in America, which is why BIC adopted their iconic hold caps. The hole not only serves a design feature, but it makes sure that a person can breathe even if they ingest it. Fact 23. Nutmeg can be poisonous. Who doesn't love a little nutmeg in their hot choc? It may seem unlikely, but in certain amounts, nutmeg can be fatal to humans. Compared to other plants and herbs, nutmeg contains higher amounts of a narcotic substance called myristicin. Consuming more than 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg at once can cause side effects such as wild hallucinations, nausea, vomiting, dizziness, and a syncopated heartbeat. In large amounts, it can also lead to organ failure. Fact 24. Our eyes remain the same size from birth. However, our noses and ears never stop growing. Fact 25. The least successful Harry Potter film made less than the most successful Twilight movie. Prisoner of Azkaban is the lowest-grossing Harry Potter film at $796,688,549 worldwide. As the third film in the Harry Potter film series, Prisoner of Azkaban was outsold by Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Part 2 by over $30,000. Fact 26. Singapore has a 15-story car vending machine. Inspired by die-cast toy cars, Autobahn Motors unveiled a building that dispenses luxury cars in 2017. The building is located in Bukit Merah and can hold up to 60 luxury cars inside. Fact 27. The tallest Lego tower of all time is 112 feet high. On August 20th, 2013, a group of students from Delaware, USA built the tallest Lego tower in the world. The tower stood at 112 feet tall and was built using over 500,000 pieces of Lego. Fact 28. Oranges were originally green. The first oranges imported to the West were from Southeast Asia. These oranges were tangerine pomelo hybrids that were green. Fact 29. Pigs can't look up. You can't tell a pig that's sad to look up. They physically can't do that. Since their bodies evolved to prioritize finding food, pig necks can't bend to let them look up at the sky. Fact 30. The British Queen's handbag is a communication device. The Queen uses her bag to relay secret and silent messages to her staff. Fact 31. You can see 2 sunsets from the Burj Khalifa in one day. Standing at 2,731 feet tall, the Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. In fact, it is so tall that you can see 2 sunsets from it, one at the bottom and one at the peak. Fact 32. Antarctica is the largest desert in the world. If you think desert, you'd probably think of the Sahara. By definition, a desert is any dry land with little vegetation and rain. However, the biggest desert is actually Antarctica. The Antarctic Polar Desert is a cold desert that covers the entire continent and covers roughly 5.5 million square miles. Fact 33. Mammoths were still alive when the Egyptians were building the Great Pyramids. Woolly mammoths were alive until 2550 to 2490 BC. Fact 34. Ants can't die from falling. Because of their body proportions and tough exoskeleton, an ant's terminal velocity isn't enough to kill or hurt it on impact. They can survive being dropped from the Empire State Building and walk away unharmed. Fact 35. You're 10 times more likely to get bitten by a person than a shark. In New York City, the annual number of human bites is 10 times higher than the yearly number of shark bites worldwide. Fact 36. Fried chicken came from Scotland. In the Middle Ages, it was a Scottish tradition to deep fry chicken. While immigrating to the southern United States, the Scots bought the dish over. From there, it became a staple for American cuisine. Fact 37. 10 gallons of carrot juice can kill a person. The vitamin A content of that much carrot juice is high enough to make your brain swell and cause other complications leading to death. Fact 38. A house fire inspired The Sims. Will White was inspired to create The Sims after suffering a house fire in 1991, where he lost everything. When he had a vision of rebuilding his house, he thought of a game concept where one could create a virtual dollhouse. From there, The Sims was born. Talk about WTF facts with a plot twist. Fact 39. Woodpeckers would eat brains if they get too hungry. Definitely one of the darker WTF facts. If a woodpecker goes too long without food, they will pin down other birds and peck at their heads until they can eat their brains. Fact 40. A volcanic eruption once killed 80% of the Earth's sheep. When the Loki volcanic fissure in southern Iceland erupted for 8 months in 1783, it killed off 80% of the sheep in the world. Additionally, roughly 25% of the world's human population died.